So, how do musicians make a living without actually playing their instrument live? Well, I've got several options, so let's get into it. Hello, and welcome to Tim Conley Drums. Today I'm going to talk about how you can earn a decent living still working as a full-time musician, but you're not playing gigs. I know lots of guys that do this, and of course, my teacher, if you follow my channel, and you know about people that I've studied with, one of the greatest teachers I ever had was Dom Famularo. And Dom did not gig as a musician at all. He just taught lessons, and he also traveled the world as the world's global drumming ambassador. Now, it's obviously very difficult to get that job. Dom was the only one. Now, lots and lots of drummers travel around and do drum clinics. So that's the first thing. If you're a higher level professional drummer and you get opportunities to do drum clinic tours or drum clinic one-offs here and there, and you're getting paid, huge. That's a bonus. I'm doing one on May 23rd. That is when I'm doing my next drum clinic. And hey, I get paid to get up there and play. Now, at the drum clinics, the way that I run them is it's also motivational talk, and it's also a lesson. So it's not just me getting up there and wanking, it's actual learning. I'm trying to get people to learn something and actually get something that they can walk away from my clinic with maybe a fresh outlook if you're a seasoned drummer, or an excited outlook if you're a new drummer. So the motivational part of my drum clinics are very, very important to me to get musicians and get young people and even older people that are on the fence. Should I learn how to play drums or not? You know, you're never too old to learn how to play any instrument or learn anything for that matter. I always encourage people to, if you want to learn something new and you're 75 years old, do it. There's nothing that's going to stop you. So drum clinics is the one thing. Now, obviously, it's very difficult to be able to get into any kind of a drum clinic tour or anything like that. So that is sort of reserved for the higher level players or well-known players, and it's quite difficult. But let's bring that down to earth and be more realistic. Teaching is the number one way that you can earn a living as a drummer. Currently, I have, between my home studio and the music school that I work at, I think I have about 36 or 37 students, maybe even more, maybe as much as 40 students that I teach weekly. So that's a lot of students. So I'm very busy organizing my schedule and getting all those lessons in. The majority of those students are half hour. I think I only have maybe 3 or 4 that are hour-long lessons. I also do online lessons as well. So I currently have about 4 or 5 additional students that I teach online. I also have a couple of online students that sort of come and go. In other words, when they're available, they contact me and we set up a Zoom lesson and they have a lesson. It's usually every month, every 2 months, something like that. So I have a variety of ways that I teach people. In person is ideal, but if you live in different parts of Canada, if you live in the US or anywhere in the world and you're interested in learning, hit me up. I'm absolutely available for online lessons. A little plug for my drum school there. Now, another way to make a living as a musician, but you're not actually gigging, is doing what I'm doing right now. Start up a YouTube channel. If you're a drummer and you got some skills, show your skills off. Now, one thing, you won't make any money if you're doing songs, if you're playing copyrighted material. So you think I'm going to get on there and I'm going to show everybody how I can play all these Rush tunes? Well, guess what? Copyright claim, Rush and Rush's organization and management and record labels, they're going to make all the money off your hard-earned work. So I don't recommend you do playthroughs of other people's music. Now, if you can find drumless tracks that don't have copyrights to them and you want to show off your ability to perform, by all means. I have quite a few of those on my channel myself. Now, I personally don't do a lot of playthroughs just for that exact reason about the copyrights. Also, one disadvantage of just playing along with the song that nobody knows, it's sort of a unfamiliar tune, is you're not going to get a lot of views. And if you want to make money on YouTube, you've got to get views. So hopefully, you can get on YouTube and you can teach, or you can do gear reviews. You can do demonstrations of grooves and stuff like that. Like if you're familiar with, how Stuart Copeland plays or how Neil Peart plays, or you're a John Bonham enthusiast and you know what you're talking about. That's the key thing. You know what you're talking about. You can get on YouTube and teach lessons. I mean, that's basically what I do. I do a wide variety of things on my channel, but essentially my channel is entertainment and education. That's the two main things with this particular channel. And I make a monthly wage from YouTube getting on here and doing this. Now it fluctuates. There are some guys that I know, I can name a few just off the top of my head, that exclusively make a living off their YouTube channels and their musicians. So it can be done. If you're extremely driven, you got to put out a lot of material to make a living on YouTube as a musician. You've got to do a lot of videos. I know some guys that are doing 2-3 videos a day trying to get their videos out and getting views, because it's all about views and watch time. That's how you make money on YouTube. So you got to get people interested in your channel. The subscribers help, but subscribers mean nothing in terms of income. To get monetized on YouTube, you need 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers. So you need the subscribers to get monetized. Now, I got to tell you guys, don't give up. It's not easy, though, to get monetized. I'm going to give you some facts that are going to shock you. There's billions of people on YouTube. I'm not kidding you. The world has, 7 billion people? I bet you there's a billion YouTubers. I don't know the exact number, but I do know this exact number. Out of all the millions, maybe billions of people that have YouTube channels, only 4 million are monetized. Now that number blew my mind when I found that out. Only 4 million channels on YouTube are monetized. And the reason is because it's difficult to get monetized. You have to have those 4,000 watch hours and you've got to have 1,000 subscribers. And it's not easy. So if you have goals to get monetized on YouTube, you can't give up. You've got to keep plugging along and try to get your subscribers and try to get watch hours. Now, I'm going to give you a very strong piece of advice. Do not try and scam YouTube. You can't. YouTube is very, very smart. The people that run YouTube are very smart. If you try and pull any kind of a scam where you think, I'll just run the video over and over and over and over, YouTube knows you're doing that. Oh, I'll get my friends to watch my videos over and over and over and over, and that's how I'm going to get my watch time hours. YouTube knows you're doing that too. So any scam you think you can pull, hiring, there's actual places that you can go on the internet and you can pay somebody to take your channel, put it out to the world, and get you the subscribers and the watch hours. But YouTube knows all about those places that people go to try to get incredible numbers of watch hours and subscribers. So YouTube is hip to it. You try and pull that scam, and not only do you not get monetized, but they shut your channel down completely. So I advise you not to try and scam YouTube just to get monetized. Also, if you're getting fake subscribers and fake watch time, when you do get monetized, you're not going to make any money because you haven't built an audience. Do the right thing. Organically build your audience, organically get your subscribers and your watch time hours, and then you can make money, and YouTube will welcome you into their program. Okay, to become a YouTube partner is not easy, but I can tell you that it is a great thing. I enjoy getting that paycheck from them every single month. It's truly a great thing. Like I said, the checks vary. It's not a check. It's actually direct deposit into my account, but it varies all the time. It's never the same amount. Some guys do really, really well. You got to get tons of views to do really, really well. Other guys kind of scrape by. You know, it all depends on how many views and how much people are interested in your content. So that's another way. So we've got teaching, number one. We've got YouTube. Another way is get yourself involved in the drumming community, in the sense that people hire you to be like an adjudicator at drum festivals, an adjudicator at drum competitions. I actually do a fair amount of adjudicating where there's a drum competition of some kind, and I'm one of the judges or the judge. In a lot of cases, I'm the only judge, and I decide who wins, and I get paid to oversee a drumming competition. Another thing is not competitive. There's non-competitive drum events where you'll have, say, 15 kids or teenagers, and they get up there and they perform, and you critique them. Now, usually for me, I always try to motivate them with my critiquing. I never say, man, that really stunk. Get off the stage. I'm not like that at all. I try to, even if they played really badly, I try to turn it into a positive thing to motivate them. The worst thing you can do to a 12-year-old kid is tell them they're terrible and they suck. So rather than doing that, I'll say to the 12-year-old, you did a great job. You're really brave. You got up on stage. You played your heart out up there. And I suggest that you just spend a little bit more time working on your technique or your groove or whatever. So I turn what potentially could be a negative into a positive. And that is extremely, extremely important in that type of a situation. When a kid gets up there and plays his heart out and he's crapping his pants because he's nervous up there, you don't want to beat him down. I joke around doing the Simon Cowell thing. I threaten I'm going to be Simon Cowell, but I'm only joking. I would actually never do that to anyone, not just a child, even an adult that's aspiring. I think my job as an adjudicator in that situation is not to be judgmental, but to be uplifting and motivating. And that's that's the role that I take as a teacher too. I try to motivate and uplift people to higher levels. And I think a lot more teachers need to take on that role as motivator and uplifter. That's, inspire people to want to play drums, to want to play guitar, to learn piano, singing, whatever instrument you teach. Okay. Now, another thing is you can work in a music store. You're still working with instruments. You're still around people that want to talk about music. The most conversations I ever have about music are in the music school I work at, obviously, and whenever I go into a music store. There's always people in there, customers and workers, that want to talk about drum clinics. They want to talk about their favorite drummers. They want to talk about the drum kit they're going to buy and the cymbals that they like and their favorite bass drum pedal. Drummers love to talk about gear. So if you love to talk about gear and you're looking for a job, apply to get into a music store. You can talk about gear all day because it's right with you. You can sit and have a conversation about what's your favorite drumstick and why, and enjoy it. I love talking about gear. I am definitely a gear nerd. Most musicians are, not just drummers, but musicians in general. They love to talk about their gear, their instruments and whatnot. So working in a music store. Now, I know that it's a retail job. A lot of people, especially musicians, they're not interested in retail. But if you can take the retail out of it, in terms of, yes, you do have to sell the product, and there's a little bit of pressure from the boss to sell those sticks and that bass drum pedal and whatever. But if you can look at it from a different perspective, which is you're still in your element. You're still around musicians and you're still around instruments. So the passion can come alive. Your passion for gear can come alive in a music store situation. I know guys at the music store that I go to, which is Long and McQuaid in Burlington, and I'm not affiliated with them. I'm not plugging them, but I'm telling you, when I go in there and I see Ian and Aaron, I love talking to those guys. They're great guys. We always talk about gear and new stuff that's coming in, and they always keep me up to date on different things. And I often run into YouTube subscribers in there. I can't tell you how many times I've been in music stores and people come up to me and go, "Hey, are you a YouTuber? Are you a drumming YouTuber?" Yes, I am. And then they're like, "I'm subscribed to you." Great. It's so much fun to be able to meet people that share my enthusiasm and passion for drumming and music. So there are other means other than just gigging. Plus, if you've watched any of my other videos, if you're playing bar gigs, you're not making any money at all. They suck. There's not a lot of money anymore, unfortunately, for musicians who are not at a much higher echelon. Even touring, people don't understand. I'm going to do a whole separate video about what it's like to be on tour and making money as a musician, whether you're regular in the band or you're a hired gun. Okay, I am going to talk about that. But a lot of times, you could be working for a big name artist and making $300 a night. And how many times are you gigging a week on tour? Well, it varies, of course. Some weeks you might only do 2 shows, so you make $600. Other weeks you do 5 shows, 6 shows. So, you make $1,800 if you're doing 6 shows. Now, that's decent money. The artist is obviously making a lot more money than you as the hired gun. It's just the way it is. But I'm going to get into the whole tour thing in another video. What I want to focus on and try and stay focused on is how to make money while not gigging. Another way is to put your own music out online using YouTube and Spotify and other venues online to get your own music out. A lot of people do that. Tons of people put their own original material out, and they actually have a career online just playing their music. That's the ultimate. Now, obviously, it's not like being on stage and you don't have a record deal or anything like that, but you're still getting your music out and you can develop followings online, getting your own music, whether you play all the instruments or you hire other musicians to play the instruments. You can record yourself playing live. You can record yourself in a studio environment. You can put recordings out without video, but with photos, but it's your song. There's so many different things you can do online. The online world is actually where I see that as the way of the future in terms of musicians who want to stay away from AI, which is generated content that you're not really generating. You're just telling the AI what you want, and AI generates it. Stay away from that. It's not real. It's not real music, and you're not an artist. If you think you're generating AI music and you're some kind of great artist, I think that's bogus. Now, I've done a video on that. I'm going to do another one on that again down the road. But look, turn to real music. Play real instruments. Whether you play the instruments, like I said, or you hire people to do it with you, or you have a band, you want to get your band out, but you don't want to play live shows, do it online. All right? So there's many, many different ways nowadays for artists to get their music out using the internet and getting themselves, on Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff. As a matter of fact, like I said, there's people that exclusively do that, and they're very successful putting their music out. I remember, I think it was Justin Bieber that was discovered on YouTube. As a matter of fact, recently, the band Primus was looking for a drummer, and they scoured YouTube looking for drummers that they might be interested in having out to audition. And I've heard about other bands doing this. I think Journey did this. I think Foreigner did this. There's a bunch of bands that go to the internet to see if they can find that unknown drummer. Could be a completely unknown guy that's just out there somewhere in the world, but man, he can really, really play drums. I couldn't tell you how many times when I was a music student that I would wander around seeing busking in New York City, and those buskers were absolutely incredible musicians. Nobody knew who they were, but they were some of the best musicians I ever saw was on subways and street corners in New York City. Just incredible players, but they haven't gotten a break. And that leads me to my next thing. You can actually, I don't personally do it, but you can get out and busk. And I know it's a form of begging or whatever, and it's frowned upon and looked down. But man, if you've got, a guitar player and a bass player, an acoustic setup or something like that, and a simple little drum kit, you get on a street corner. Some places require you to be licensed, some cities. So get the license, get out and busk. There's no shame in that in any way, shape, or form. I personally have never done that. I'm going to be totally honest. But when I see buskers, I always give them a few bucks. And I always admire that they're brave enough to get out there and do that. So if you are down and out, but you're a musician, get out on a street corner and start playing. Play your guitar, sing some songs, in a subway or whatever. I mean, that's another thing that's popular on YouTube is seeing people just playing and busking. And some guys make a living again off busking and then filming it. So they make the busking money and they make YouTube money. So there's lots of angles for you guys to pursue out there. Don't think that just performing live or getting a record deal and getting your music out to the world is the only way. Because it's like 1 in a million to get a record deal, probably 1 in 10 million. Record deals just don't get handed out anymore, especially bands. They just don't get handed out anymore. There was a time when bands would have to audition. An A&R guy would have to come out and see you perform. That's how you got record deals. Then, of course, it all changed with talent shows that came on TV. America's Got Talent and that singing show that Simon Cowell was responsible for. I don't like any of those particular shows, but people do get discovered off those shows. But again, it's very, very hard to get discovered off of a TV show. The more common way for discovery now is the internet. So anyways, I hope that some of the ideas that I gave you guys today can help you out. And don't give up on your dreams of being a musician, even if you decide you just don't want to play anymore in terms of live shows. You might have been a giggy musician for years and years and years. You got tired of the bar scene or you got tired of touring or whatever. Open up a YouTube channel. Get yourself some students. Get out busking. Get on YouTube and film yourself performing. So, take some of these things that I've mentioned today and put them into action, because that is the only way you're going to do it as a musician. It's one of those jobs where you got to hustle. You've got to be willing to put yourself out there and you've got to hustle. So with that in mind, guys, on a positive note, keep drumming and get yourself out there so that people can find out who you are and you can work as a musician, but no gigs. See ya. Take care.